Hi, welcome back to Chiang Mai. Today I'm going to take you for a ride around a place called Wiang Kum Kam. It's located a little bit south of the center of the city, across the Ping River. It used to actually be the capital of the Lana Kingdom from about the year 1286 to 1296. It only lasted 10 years because of flooding. They decided to abandon this place and move to what is currently Chiang Mai. It's filled with ruins of temples that have been found, most of them fairly recently, around the 1980s. A lot of it has been excavated and exposed a lot more of the original temple brickwork. We're going to start off by heading south on Chiang Mai Lamphun Road in the Nong Hoi district. Wat Keu Kau will be our first stop. There's not a lot to this place. It's not much more than a stupa right now, but still pretty interesting, and it's right off one of the main roads, so it's highly visible. A lot of people know of it. You get back into the neighborhoods after this temple, you will see, and there's a whole lot more just hidden amongst vacant land and neighborhoods, houses, hotels, etc. I hope you enjoy it. Our next stop will be an old temple called Wat Huan Nong. It's pretty extensive. It actually consists of 3 different complexes. The excavation in this place actually started in 1988, so this was the late 80s when they dug this up and found what was underneath. There are some larger stupas that must have been exposed, but again, it might have been all in jungle grown over, and they didn't even know it was there. I'm not quite sure of the details. While I was shooting videos here, I saw this plastic bag sitting on the wall, and I realized there's a old amulet in it, broken. Somebody must have owned this, broken it somehow, and decided the best thing to do with it was bring it here as an offering. There's a little bit of the remaining stucco with a bird design in it. All these, or at least most of them, were all covered in a white stucco. So what you're seeing here is just basically the skeleton. And picture all of these buildings, obviously much higher, built of wood on top of the brick, except for the stupas. They were all covered in white stucco. I don't know what I'd do if I never bought a motorcycle here in Chiang Mai. Only drive the car when we have to. The traffic here can get real bad in a car. On a motorcycle, you can just go around everything. And parking is terrible most places, so the motorcycle really is a savior. Wasn't a motorcycle rider back home in America, but every time I came here, I do a little bit of riding, and I finally decided, what the heck, when I moved here, decided to buy one, and it's my main form of transportation. We'll take the car out when we go shopping or we go out of town. Don't get on the highway too much with the motorbike, just for safety reasons. But I've gotten real comfortable with it and love riding it around. Next stop is Wat Kum. Another good reason for the motorbike, you can see these roads are really pretty narrow, some narrower than others, and houses are generally built with walls around the perimeter, right up against the road. So if you've got two cars going two different ways, it can get pretty tight, especially if there's somebody parked on the side of the road. It can be pretty difficult at times. Wat That Noi. This is a good temple where you can see how much they had to dig down to excavate around and expose all this brickwork. Looks like a little bit of this stupa, not much left of it, but there must have been a little bit that was exposed. When the flooding happened and the river changed its course and came over this way and buried all these places, the silt built up. I'd say from what I've seen, from just a couple of feet some places to maybe up to 8 or 10 feet, a few meters. All right, this one here is Wat Chiang Kam. This is located on grounds of a current working temple. This one's pretty cool too. It's pretty big, pretty elaborate, and it's got extra beauty because you can see the modern temple right next door to it. Here's an example of a more modern stupa or a restuccoed stupa, but this is pretty much what the old ones, the brick ones that we've been looking at, looked like back in their heyday. Wat Kang is one of the most impressive temples. The stupa is almost entirely intact, and you can see quite a bit of the white stucco remaining on it. This also has, as many of the temples do, has lights set up. I have yet to come by any of these places at night. I don't know why, because I think they're probably beautiful, so I'll do that one of these evenings. The grounds at all these places are always clean and well kept. Somebody obviously maintains them, if not daily, at least a couple times a week, because you never see garbage. Grass is always cut nice. Very beautiful and peaceful. This is Wat Chang. First time I came here, probably a year and a half ago, there were horse-drawn carriages carrying tourists around. Don't know how far they would go, but maybe they were doing tours of different temples in the area. This looks interesting here too. Right in the foreground you see what looks like a brick wall that has fallen over, and all the bricks are just laying kind of in line. Cool looking. But again, the grass is so green, not a bit of garbage anywhere, which is not so typical of the city. And you can see here also the excavation level. This is Wat Phu Phia. This is also fairly intact. A lot of stucco remaining. Some of these temples only date back to the 16th and 17th centuries. So when the capital of Waing Kum Kam was abandoned in 1296, I think it was, still people were here, still temples were being built, etc. But as far as the capital goes, they moved it just a few kilometers north. This is Wat That Cow. Pretty small compared to some of the ones we visited, but still very impressive. This temple, as you can see, is pretty much visited regularly. Candles and incense, Buddha statues, flowers. And the last place we're going to visit today is Wat Prat Chao Ong Dam. I don't know what the meaning is behind this little stack of bricks, but somebody obviously stacked them up 2 days ago, 2 years ago, 2 decades ago, who knows. But nobody's going to touch them. You're going to be left alone. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this little tour around my neighborhood and look forward to making more videos down the road. See you next time. Bye-bye.